All right. I think we're live. All right. I'm right at the bottom of the comments here, so if anyone can't hear us, let us know now because we're watching. But the volume should be good. We'll kind of restart there. Hello. Good evening, and welcome to Ramblestream number 44 on this very hot Monday evening here in Goshen. We had to turn the fans off to make sure the audio was good, but now we're really sweltering. But toasty. I'm joined. Some of you all who've been on all the Ramble streams will recognize this guy next to me. This is Jordan Lake. Jordan is one half of the flat track team.
Yeah.
And where are you coming in from?
I came in from Texas to Nashville for 24 hours, and then flew from Nashville to here.
But you're from Nashville.
I'm from Nashville, but Blake and I have a shop, and we're doing all our prep and training in Texas. So in that 108-degree weather.
108. So this isn't bad.
Yeah, this is.
Although you
fall.
probably have air conditioning.
No, it's outside
okay.
heat.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, we're not subjecting you to too much here. Again, if there's any issues with volume or sound, let us know. Also, I have to tell you all, we may have some technical issues. My little computer does not like this heat. I've got it propped up, but it's going slow. So it looks to us like everything is coming through okay. So let us know if it's not. But as you may already have told, this is a episode where it's not just me on the screen. It's the two of us, and we're going to do the regular program. But the kind of feature tonight is going to be hearing firsthand from Jordan about the work he's been doing in our own fabrication shop, TT.
And some photos.
And looking at some pictures, if everything works.
Yeah.
If the computer decides to cooperate.
Let's talk nice to it.
Yeah. And answering questions you have, telling you more about sponsorship opportunities.
Yeah.
Flat Track.
And we'll get into that in detail. For sure.
So let's start off, as always, the Ramble stream. If you're an old hand, I won't reiterate what you should know. If you're new, though, it's often the case, if you feel like it, we encourage you to comment in the video. So we're joined by people we're publishing to or streaming to YouTube and to Facebook. But if you make a comment on Facebook, on the video, or on YouTube in the comments, that shows up and we'll answer your comment and everyone else can see it. And so tell us where you're from, what you go by, whether it's your name or your handle, what Janus you own, and the serial number. And if you don't own a Janus, that's perfectly okay as well. Tell us what you ride. And also, last but not least, tell us what you're sipping on this evening. So I will go ahead and get started. Richard Worsham, founder and designer here at Janus Motorcycles. I am in our world headquarters in downtown Goshen, Indiana. I ride Halcyon 250, number 68. 68 and I had a great weekend together riding out to a staff camping trip, which we'll also be reporting on today. And I'm sipping on an old favorite, our Janus business consultant, one of many business consultants, but he has some credentials too, Evan Williams, and a little water. Jordan, over to you.
Yeah, so Jordan Lake out of Nashville, Tennessee, spending some time with the Janus family, working on the factory flat track bike, and I don't own a Janus yet. My daily is an Indian, but
what kind of Indian?
I have an Indian Scout that I've been building up. That hasn't been seen yet.
Okay.
So we got
any engine work you've been doing?
Oh yeah, dyno work, engine work. You'll see it someday when I'm ready to show it.
Great.
And just sipping on water because I've been in the shop working and welding and tacking and.
We were just talking about how the black goop that if you're working in a shop gets in your nose and it's
dusty.
It's dusty, yeah. Let's see. There's Jordan.
Yeah.
Let's look at some comments real quick. And we've already got a bunch on. Kurt takes the prize for first on at 6:22. And he says, greetings from Kelowna, Iowa. Only steed in my stable is the little eunuch, Halcyon 250 number 487. What did you do to your poor motorcycle, Kurt? Ray. Hello, Richard. Ray Gates from Taylorsville, Illinois. Halcyon 1055 plus 3 other steeds, sipping water on the rocks. Who from the shop will be at Ramblers in Peoria Saturday? Will there be a 450? Well, you asked the right question. I was just looking at my facts on that, and the dates are it's June 22nd, and it's going to be at the Rambler store, which is what an appropriately named store to have an event at for us. They feature gear for wandering, and we will have a bike, a 450 there, and 250s, and they'll be doing demo rides. Mitch will be there. I believe both Grant and Jordan will be there, and it's going to be a good time. We're really looking forward to it. More information can be found on our social media channels on that. Peoria weekend, June 22nd. So that is this coming weekend in Peoria. Let us know if you need more information on that. We got Charles Selman on. Good to see you, Charles. Good afternoon from San Francisco. Griffin 250 number 124, making an Aperol Spritz. Thanks to Richard. Nice. Great. It's a rare, non-foggy, warm day here. Awesome. We got John Straw, Halcyon 769. Good to see you. 250 in New Hampshire, sipping a double barrel brown ale. I think that's something that Dan Bowen would be sipping on. Dave Bowen would be sipping on. Michael Robach, Sutherland, Oregon, 250 number 22, 450 number 67, the Velveteen Rabbit, and the others. We got some names coming through from last week. Very good. I like the names. Let's keep them coming. Sipping coffee and water. Cody, I have not named 68 yet. That was the last Ramblestream I was talking about. You really need to have names for these, especially if they're dear to your heart. I haven't named 68. I was thinking about it all weekend, though. Greetings from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, sipping kombucha from my new Janus mug, Father's Day gift. Anxiously awaiting Halcyon 250, number 1094. Yes, happy Father's Day to all of you out there as well. Happy Father's Day to you.
Yeah, thank you.
And
you as well.
Thank you. It was a great Father's Day in my book. Yeah. Riding motorcycles. Yeah. We had a good time. He's waiting for 1094. Robert Benstead. Hey, Bob. Sturgis, South Dakota. Halcyon 450 number 230. Coke with my supper. Nice. Good to see you. Looking forward to seeing you at Sturgis this year. David Hyde. 250 number 387 from Patterson, New York, having a seltzer tonight. I would love to join you in Peoria to touch base with Janus, as well as another favorite Colt manufacturer in the area, Deckware Audio. Well, please do. I will not be there, but the rest of the team will be. I'm actually going out to another show in Connecticut the same weekend. Charles is on. How's it going? Howdy from the Eastern Shore. Halcyon 250 number 454. Phoenix number 30. And soon Griffin 450 number 4. Drinking a little Coke Zero. Francis Gertz, Iowa City. Brompton folding bicycle. Nice. Sold my 87 BMW R80 RT. Sipping carrot juice. Good to see you, Francis, and welcome. Let us know if you have any other questions. Gary Smith. Here we go. East Lansing, Michigan. Halcyon 50 number... Wait. Is that new? Did you have a 50 all along? Am I forgetting something here? Gary, 50 number 11, 250 number 79, 450 number 3, Phoenix 250 number 79, sipping on a Dr. Pepper Cherry Zero Sugar. Maybe my memory is going bad, but is that a new addition? Roger's on. Sturgis Road, sipping on a bottle of Redbridge. Nice. Barb, we got good news for you this evening. We'll be featuring your bike. Hello from Oregon, Halcyon 450 number 278, finally in my garage, sipping on a Cider Boys Blackberry Wild. Awesome. Jordy Field, hello from Lake Forest, Illinois, home of Halcyon 450 number 44. Been riding on amazing roads in Wisconsin. Wonderful. Good to hear, Jordy. Dave, that's him over here. I've got a big giant picture on my desktop from last year's rally, and I was pointing to Jordan all the different customers that were going to probably be on here. So. Keith Haywood, 706 in New York, Cabernet Sauvignon. Jim Bledsoe, here we go from Youngstown, Ohio, with a Mountain Dew and Halcyon 450 number 163, 2003 Victory Vegas, and a custom Honda Rebel bobber. Nice.
It's all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Yeah, that's right. Tom Kimball, 450 number 192, coming to you from Oven Fresh, Colorado, where it's a dry 94 degrees. Hydrating with some ice cold lemonade. Well, it's not a dry 90 degrees here. It's a humid 90 something degrees today. But congratulations. Good to see you. Whit Lindstrom, good evening from Charleston, South Carolina. 450 number 277 was delivered today. Even got taxes and tags from DMV. A miracle. Sipping on iced tea. It's a great day. Well, fantastic, Whit. Take it that would have been delivered by Mark on his way down. That's awesome. I'm glad you got your bike. I hope you are enjoying it today. Jim Winters, good to see you, Jim. Happy Monday from the Indiana Dunes. We were just out in your neck of the woods. We were out in LaPorte area for the weekend. It was a lot of fun. A staff camping trip, which we'll show you all some pictures from. Multifarious, I got home from work and the roll top bag was waiting at the door, installing it after the stream. 250, 1067, Fremont, Nebraska. Nice. Good to see you, man. Grant is on. He says, sounds good, looks good. Thank you. Thank you. Russell Peters, Detlef, Owensburg, Kentucky, 450, number 86 in water. Good to see you, Russell. Eric Green with Outlaw, Vancouver, Washington, iced tea. Felix Brothers, Yaha. Felix Brothers here. Halcyon 450, 120, and 121. Sipping on some Founders Mortal Bloom Hazy IPA. Cheers. Good to see you guys. Jeremy Orvik, all the way from Santa Cruz. Owner of 450, number 214. Also got a BSA, an old Triumph, and a Ural, which I didn't ride the Triumph. I rode in the Ural. That was fun. Sipping on the sobriety of shift work. Nice. Good on you, says Grant. Grant says, I'm sure you have more to sip about mid-shift than most. Yes, indeed. He works in an emergency room.
Oh.
Steve Rice, checking in from Syracuse with Halcyon 250 number 969, currently on the lift with a flat. Sorry to hear that. Sipping a local 315 Brewing On Point IPA. Lots of comments. Pete Marino, Radcliffe, Kentucky, 450 Halcyon 156. Pete is in town right now, here with us. And he managed to sneak onto the staff camping trip for a little bit too. With his many, many miles he puts on his 450. Brad Elpers, Kansas Belpers, the last feather neat, and I'm trail fitting my FJ. Trail fitting your FJ, nice. And I'd like to mount a Rambler on it. Is it possible? If so, is an Halcyon 450 doable, or will I need to do a 250? Oh, I see. Your Toyota. I was thinking of a motorcycle. It has been done. We've had one guy who built out an FJ, really kitted it out, and he put a Griffin matching color to his FJ on the back. It was one of the new FJs, but I don't know if you have an old one, but it would work on that too. The 250 would totally be doable. The 450, yeah, you can do it. They're still light bikes. They weigh, the 350 is, or the 450 is 360 or 70 pounds, so totally doable. Semtech 57, John here, SoCal checking in. No Janus yet, can't decide. 7-Up and cheesesteak. Nice. Well, John, we can help you, and these folks on this stream can help you too. Heck, Jordan can help you.
I rode them all.
He's ridden them all. Ben Ferrer, oops, I'm late. Hi from San Francisco. Just in time, man. Halcyon 450 number 43. He's drinking coffee. Matt Smith on Facebook. I need one for free review. I am retired school teacher. Well, we'll see what we can do. Just come on up here for a test ride. Poppy is the name of your bike. Nice, Ben. Perry Austin is on. Hey, Richard. Perry from Fort Worth, Texas. Halcyon 250 number 884. Victor Papin Cajigas Mendoza. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Hello from Puerto Rico. We got, all right, nice on Facebook. That's great. Kyle's on. Love the moto camping video. Awesome.
It was great. Yeah.
And Kyle was out moto camping last weekend. Were you on a BDR? Tell us, remind me which BDR you were on, because we were talking, a lot of the folks here want to do one. Perry Justin named Oliver Hazard Perry. Homage to my Navy days and the olive drab paint. Awesome. Dave Daniels, Halcyon 450 number 186. When is the jack stand made and be made and shipped? They are working on them right now, so they're shipping out soon. I don't have an exact update on that, but I've seen parts, and they're being worked on. I think we're on schedule. Kelly Chrisman, 450-236, 2013 Ultra, 2006 Heritage out of Winchester, Virginia, sipping on Coca-Cola. Thought I needed a little change up. Right, Richard? Nice. Yep. Gary says, it is new. Congratulations, Gary. You now have... Do you have one of everything? Or you will? You don't have a Griffin. Well, we can arrange that too. No, congratulations on the 50cc. I really hope you enjoy it. I wish I had one. Grant's on Facebook now. Mary Lake is in from Tennessee.
That's the wife.
Oh, that's you. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's Jordan's wife is on. Great. Blake Wharton is on. Sturgis race bike number 1 and a gallon of water, bro. Beaumont, Texas. Nice. Good to see you, Blake. Hope your travels back were pleasant. We got David Hyde. David again. Where is the Connecticut event this weekend? The Connecticut event, I think it's like an invite only. I don't know the actual details. It's a little out of my league, but it's a yacht show. And when they say yachts, they're not my kind of yachts. They're not powered by sail. I think they're very large boats. But I will be there representing the Janus brand. We're really lucky. We're partnering with another local Elkhart County brand that's taking their trailers, their toy haulers to that event, and they wanted some motorcycles to put in their trailers. So Elkhart Trailers going, and we're going to tag along and see if people would like to purchase a motorcycle along with their helicopter or yacht.
It's his fitting. I mean, I was waiting on a silver bullet airplane to land in the.
I think there's maybe some water planes as well. Vaughn Spruitt says, Howard Spruitt, hey Howard, 450 number 64 in Santa Cruz, awesome. Nicholas G, 250 Southeastern Connecticut. Grant says David Hyde, Steel Point Marina. Yes, that's right. Steel Point Marina is where the Connecticut event is. Mary Lakes says Jordan, the motorcycle guru.
Yeah, you got to talk to him. Nice. Bike will speak back.
Kyle says Fort Wayne CB350 Honda sipping Bell's Big Hearted IPA. Boy, they got all kinds of hearted IPAs now. Barb says, Matt, I'm a retired school teacher too, and I paid for my 450. Oh, fighting words right there.
That's awesome.
Kyle says, I ran the PA Wilds BDR X. Okay, BDR X. Yeah, that's the one we thought it was. Highly recommend for a Janus Scrambler. Okay, well, there we go. Gary says he still needs a Griffin 250 and a Griffin 450 someday. Well, I wouldn't put it past you, honestly, but you have plenty to have fun with for the time being, I'm sure. David Dixon, Halcyon 450 266, Cato, Wisconsin, drinking a cold PBR after finishing a valve adjustment today. Wonderful. Nicholas G says, in Connecticut, let me know where. Yeah, Steel Point Marina in Bridgeport, Connecticut is where the event is. Grant says, yeah, Steel Point Marina, Bridgeport. There we go. Answered your questions. Daniel Vanderwood, good evening, Richard. Thank you for this weekly ramble stream. Just completed a 200-mile trek today. Wow. Along Lake Michigan, Halcyon number 53. Wow, wonderful. Glad you're getting the rambles in. Tom, question for Jordan. Here we go.
Here we go.
I've added a 23 Scout ABS to the stable. It seems like a windscreen would help out on the Rocky Mountain roads. Recommend a size.
Yeah, so the shorter windscreens, they have a good look, but you always want to go a little taller. So depending on your ride height and how high you have your bars, for me, comfortability, body positioning is important. So, about something like that, I run a 14.5-inch bar height, either with a riser or the bars itself. So I would get a windscreen that you're going to see over, but it's going to be a lot higher. So probably like no shorter than a 12 or somewhere between 12 and 16.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
6'1".
Yeah.
So it's going to depend on how tall you are too.
And body positioning, seat, yep. And yeah. And you'll get enough. You'll get enough protection.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Still look good.
Confed Yank, howdy. How's it going, Confed Yank? Good to see you on. Okay, we've managed to burn through 20 minutes right there. We're going to read a poem, and then we're going to talk about builds of the week. So we're going to go back to today was a very busy day, so I didn't really have a whole lot of time to prep. But I picked one, and it's a good one, and it felt like something that I've been thinking about lately. So anyway, this is called. Okay, this is a Richard Wilbur poem. Again, I know I often go here from his book New and Collected Poems, and the title of the poem is "Advice to a Prophet." When you come, as you soon must, to the streets of our city, mad-eyed from stating the obvious, not proclaiming our fall, but begging us in God's name to have self-pity, spare us all word of the weapons, their force and range, the long numbers that rocket the mind. Our slow, unreckoning hearts will be left behind, unable to fear what is too strange. Nor shall you scare us with talk of the death of the race. How should we dream of this place without us? The sun mere fire, the leaves untroubled about us, a stone's look on the stone's face. Speak of the world's own change. Though we cannot conceive of an undreamt thing, we know to our cost how the dreamt cloud crumbles. The vines are blackened by frost, how the view alters. We could believe, if you told us so, that the white-tailed deer will slip into perfect shade, grown perfectly shy. The lark avoid the reaches of our eye, the jack-pine lose its knuckled grip on the cold ledge, and every torrent burn as Xanthus once, its gliding trout stunned in a twinkling. What should we be without the dolphin's ark, the dove's return? These things in which we have seen ourselves and spoken. Ask us, prophet, how we shall call our natures forth when that live tongue is all dispelled, that glass obscured or broken, in which we have said the rose of our love and the clean horse of our courage, in which beheld the singing locust of the soul unshelled, and all we mean or wish to mean. Ask us whether with the wordless rose our hearts shall fail us, come demanding whether they shall be lofty or long-standing when the bronze annals of the oak tree close. It'll take a long time to read and reread that one. But we're not going to do that. We're going to move on.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet, yes. Tom Kimball says, excellent, thank you. That's to you, Jordan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Confed Yank says, I've been riding more. How goes it? Many more Janus sales. Yes, we have been selling a lot of Janus bikes. Thank you for asking. Yeah, we're selling a lot, and we're working right now on making sure that we have all the parts in place so that we can build them. So it's always a balancing act. Last year it was more, we were focusing more on sales, and this year we have focused a lot on sales, and now it's time to focus on the production. So it's
I'd like to touch on that.
Yeah.
So any of you new folks out there, I've been spending some time down here in both the locations. We have a couple shops, and everything's hand built. I mean, they're not assembling. Parts aren't coming in. We're just assembling them. And if they design something in house, then it has to be manufactured. They manufacture it in house. So it's not like some of our other brands that we're aware of, where parts come in and people just put them together and they go out the door. And especially with all the cool options and features that are available. So it's really awesome to see. I mean, these are hand-built machines right here in Goshen. And I don't know if everybody really realizes that you're hand making the parts.
What have you been watching down there at TT?
Well, at TT they're gonna, so they've got all the different models, and when it's time to start pre-assembling, those models have to be literally hand built from a gusset to a tube being bent to a weld being put on it, put into a jig, frames put into jigs and manufactured. It's all in-house manufacturing, really. I mean, do you know what the percentage is? It's got to be. It's over 60%.
Yeah,
for sure.
Everything except for, as I always say, the easiest way out there. My cop-out answer is everything but specialty components. So by specialty, I mean like shock absorbers, lighting, and engines. And
they're custom cut too, though. Like they're not even factory off the shelf.
Yep.
Like
well, you know that you've been working with our shock absorbers.
Yeah. So the Icon stuff's great. So
I mean, they'll be Jordan and Blake will be running Icon.
The same as you guys.
Suspension units on the race bike. A little bit higher spec.
Yeah, we're gonna have them spec'd out for ourselves, but it's coming from the same plant.
Yep.
Same
working with our dear friend Jeff over there at Icon. So yeah. Grant says 140% over last spring. And he's speaking about in terms of sales. So that's where we are right now. Confetti Yank. All right. Let's talk about builds of the week. Let's see if I've got this queued up properly, if it'll work.
Nope,
there we
you
go. Perfect. I'm going to take the comment down. Okay. This week, we have, first up, Barb. This is your bike. I think you may have just received it, but the finished photographs are ready. So this is Halcyon 450 number 278, belonging to Barbara. This is a classic. I don't know. We made one it's the third Halcyon we ever made that was white and black, and I'm not sure.
I have a soft spot for white bikes.
It's clean.
I like it.
It's clean.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've made one since then, but it's white primary colors with what I think, if I'm remembering right, this picture is double black. She's got a brushed exhaust, black leatherwork, which is just, yes, definitely the right choice. Number plate, 2 mirrors, headlight visor.
Bar extenders.
Oh, she's got the bar end weights. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Fantastic. Well done, Barb. Wish you many, many happy rambling miles with that. Next up, we have Halcyon 450 number 265. This belongs to Craig. And another classic. This is cream. This is the same as my 250 number 68. Cream with double gold pinstripe. We've got a gold feather. What was Barb's feather?
Silver?
She went with silver. Nice, with a deluxe tank, which I don't even see that much of anymore. We've got a gold feather logo with a basic tank. We've got saddle brown seat and saddlebags, polished stainless exhaust, number plate. We're definitely looking at some ducktail fenders here, our new upgrade option. 2 mirrors, bar end weights, headlight visor. Beautiful. Definitely a head turner. Another cream and gold. This one is Halcyon 250, number 1083. And this belongs to David. And he's got saddle brown leather. He's got the book rack, brushed stainless exhaust. Not quite finished in this picture. The battery cap hasn't been put on, and the airbox hasn't been painted. This looks to me like it is an Origin build without the fender pinstripe. Beautiful. Great work. Really like that one, David. And last but not least, we have a Griffin 250 in black with gold pinstripe. Still on the stand, but counted. And this one is also actually looks like an Origin. No fender pinstripe. Very simple.
Clean look.
Really clean.
Yeah.
I love that stainless steel.
I spent a lot of time on that bike this weekend.
That's right. You
Or
did.
a bike, not that
particular
one. Bike.
But a Griffin 250. And it did pretty well.
I ringed it out, man. It got rode.
Great. So those are our builds for the week. And now we're going to, well, we already talked about Peoria, but if you weren't on earlier on the stream, upcoming events, we have an event this weekend in Peoria, Illinois at the Rambler store, a very appropriately named store with appropriate goods that they sell for wandering. We will have Janus bikes there, demo rides, get to hang out with the team. It's a great event. If you're in the driving range of Peoria, Illinois, I encourage you to attend. More information can be found on our social media. And if you're signed up for our email list, if you're not, do so. It has more information there. So, then Sturgis, obviously.
Yeah.
Got to go to Sturgis, see these guys.
It's getting close.
Racing their bikes, racing our Griffin 450, that is. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. We got, Grant says, Craig's bike got, so that would be this one. Got delivered today in Walla Walla. Nice. And by our own Kyle Harwood delivered it. Carson says, congratulations on the Janus success. A great concept and a well executed by a group of great individuals at Janus. The handmade quality touch is a sought after commodity that Janus fulfills to a T. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It's good to hear. Good to hear that. Okay, next up, let's talk a little bit about the weekend, and then we can move on to some flat track stuff. So, get through the... So, if you've been to a Janus Owners Rally, you may be familiar with what these individuals are engaged in, this sort of devious behavior. We're Hammerschlagen, which is a Janus favorite. It's a game of nails and hammers and other things. Let's just leave it at that, and it's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun doing that on the evening. This has been, basically, the camping trip was an opportunity for us to hang out together outside of work and ride motorcycles off-road. We have some dear friends and customers who live out near LaPorte, Indiana. If you've been to an owners rally, you'll know them, Mark and Terry, and they were gracious enough to let us tear up their lawn or their backwoods.
It was a very nice property. They were very kind.
They were very kind, and we got to camp, have a blast, and just be able to hang out together outside of work, which is really important. I think we'll be planning on doing that more. Here is James, our
also
new intern.
New writer.
Also, well, tell us about James.
Yeah.
So James is our new intern.
He's my favorite. I'm keeping him.
I assigned him to Jordan to help him out.
Yeah. James is a very, very smart young man, and first time riding motorcycles ever was this weekend.
Yep.
And he did a really good job. I mean, he rode and figured it out.
He had some coaching from a pro racer.
Blake gave him some coaching, some body positioning and things. We had to slow him down a little bit. He got a little excited, and we could see a drop in the future.
Which did happen.
Which did it when we left? Yeah. Well, it was coming.
Nobody was hurt.
Yeah. But it just goes to show that a brand new rider never rode off-road, got on a Janus 250, and
was tearing it up.
I mean, he was having fun.
Yeah, it was really good.
We made a little. Blake laid out a circle track, which is great for training.
That's what you see in the background there.
It's something I would advise everyone to do. Spend some time.
Tell us a little bit about that. What you were telling us.
Yeah. So, from a professional riding standpoint, circle track riding will give you a lot of experience, body positioning as well. You got to, right?
Wait. I didn't mean to push that button. My computer is so slow right now. Having technical difficulties here. Okay. Keep going. Sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, no, I thought it was awesome. Oh, you're doing it again.
No, we're good.
So circle drills. It could be an oval. It could be a perfect circle. And you're just going to make a bunch of, you're just going to make loops. And maybe make a 3-5 minute loop and then switch it up, go the opposite direction. And it gets you used to being in a position of turning constantly. So when you do have to ride on the road, it will translate. So it's good for on-road training. It's good for off-road training. It's good for body positioning. It's a good workout. And it just gets you in a position where you can handle your motorcycle, get familiar with it in a controlled environment.
Yeah, and you were just saying, don't push it. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
And keep doing it.
Go slow to go fast kind of
Yep.
mentality. Yeah.
And then eventually you start going faster without even really realizing it.
Correct. Yeah, because you're in control, and it's for James, because he's 18, it was I kind of explained to him like a video game. You can grab a controller, and you can start playing a game immediately. If you spend a lot of time on a circle track or just in general riding, it's going to be second nature, and your body will position itself without you having to have that thinking time. Which really, if something happens, or a car or an animal or something, a bump in the road, etc., happens, you don't have time to think and react. You need to react naturally.
And it's so good to be able to get your first experience off road. I think understanding traction.
And these bikes are great off road. They perform well.
Yep.
As you will see.
I don't know if the volume's going to come through, but we'll show some. I know it was coming through, but I'm afraid of feedback on these, so we're going to play it without, and it might come through on your all's end. But this is Jonah on a little
Suzuki 80.
We got a sidecar. We got Griffin 250, and there's Blake on the 450. And that's the circle track we'd set up. Then there was some more sandy sections. This is Blake really putting through his paces here. drifting through that corner. And we got, I think this is you maybe? You and
me
Blake?
and Blake, I think.
This is like sand,
It's sandy. It's loose.
if it'll load here. Yeah, they can hear this now. They can't hear this. Yeah, I do apologize. That's just Jordan. Glitching a little bit, but there you go.
Sure, we can post it later. if you
We'll
want
be
to.
posting more of these. Don't worry. All right, here we go. We can do stills. So this is Blake on the 450. On the 250. Jordan chasing him on the 450. Jonah on the little Suzuki, tearing it up, and just a blast.
Yeah, it really reminds you of like the old days. I highly recommend if you haven't seen on any Sunday the heritage feel of these Janus motorcycles and just the old school cool vibe. Reminds you of like reliving, on any Sunday 1 and 2 kind of days, and it just felt like living in that time period, man. Where you did cool stuff and it was all motorcycle related.
We were camping, so this is my tent set up. It was just great to be able to be out there. It was hot, but in the evenings it cooled off. It was nice. And then I did mention that I had a great time with 68. The ride out. I just want to say a couple of words about that. I ended up riding it by myself a little later than everyone else. Just I had to wrap up here at the shop. And I ended up taking this County Road 36. And it was basically a straight shot for 50 miles and then a couple of turns at the end. It was some of the best riding I've ever done. I just got back, as you all know, from California. And when I was ecstatic after riding a 250, which I was riding a 450 in California, riding an old 250 in Indiana on a flat road. It was beautiful. The trees opening up from fields down to kind of tunneled, trees and up and down over not extreme terrain, putzing along at 55, 60 miles an hour with all my gear. I lost a shift lever about 30 miles in, totally through my own fault. I had just serviced the bike, and I must not have tightened up the shift lever bolt. But managed to limp it back to where I thought I had dropped it and found it. And stole a bolt off of my airbox and kept on going. So it was a great rambling experience, let's just say. And just had a blast. On the way back, I caught this photo of 68 in an especially picturesque spot. And man, there really is something about the 250 that just captures the simplicity of motorcycling. I mean, obviously the 450 can do highway speeds, and the 250 can't do everything that you want a motorcycle to do. You're not going to be as comfortable on the highway, but for putzing around, carbureted, single cylinder, narrow tires, sub 300 pounds, it's lovely.
The bike's been to the paces.
I kind of fell back in love with it.
Yeah.
So that's the weekend. Before we move on to this, let's just catch up on the comments here.
Oh, I was gonna say I had a lot of fun on the Griffin 250.
Oh, well, let's talk a little bit about your experience over the weekend. Yeah, we'll pull up a picture of the two of y'all.
We sent it. So we did some hard starts where the rev limiter wide open. Throttle. I mean, you heard it. Throttle was wide
I would
open.
share that video. We will be sharing videos soon. My computer is having a heat stroke.
Yeah, we
right
did
now.
We did some hot starts, some motocross style starts, and had the RPMs wide open and dumped the clutches and shifting gears. Found one spot where we could kind of get a little bit of air, maybe a couple feet, and it was third gear wide open pinned just to get it, to get some airlift. And then it did great in the sand sections and on the back of the backwood section. And
so tell us a little bit about what you found on the 450 and things that you were working on.
Yeah, so the 450's in development, obviously, and they're getting really close. I think the team here has put a lot of time and effort into development. And it was nice to see an OEM. I call you guys an OEM,
Thank you.
Although I think of you as like custom builders / bike enthusiast and all that cool stuff. But also you're an OEM. And for an OEM to consider listening to someone's feedback and go, hey, after riding it, I think we could shorten up the wheelbase a little bit, then make the bike handle more, get the weight to feel like it's transferred from this location to a different location, so it's more more balanced.
So what are you, for the race bike, what are you going to be focusing on? Let's say, I'll talk about weight distribution.
Yeah, so with a race bike, it's optimum if you can. You still have to meet certain numbers, right? So you have a rake that you want to go for a certain style of racing.
So by rake, he means the steering head angle.
Correct. How long or how wide the bike is, axle to axle, seat height, rider's seat height for preference. So we're going to actually build our race bike for Blake Wharton. So it'll be like a horse saddle designed for him. And through that, we're going to attempt at making the weight of the bike feel like it's at your ankles through the geometry of the bike. And we're doing it, I want to mention this, after a few months of really soul searching how we wanted to do this project, I came to the realization that I wanted to view Janus as a 50 or 100-year-old motorcycle company and look at all of your models, come in here and go through every bike like a shopping list and go, okay, I'm going to build a race bike from all the parts and stuff that you've designed in the past and modify them to work as a actual factory works race machine, but not ordering parts on the internet like you would see a lot of people do.
Yeah, I mean,
let's use your stuff.
What really surprised me and did my heart good was to learn that y'all wanted to use the leading link. They're going to go for it.
Feels good, man. I jumped it. If it can handle a jump, it can.
Well, they did have a heritage of off-road riding, but I just figured, in the interest of kind of standardization, that we'd go with some kind of standard front end.
It's the hallmark of the, it's the calling card of the Janus, and then your guys' gas tank design. So you got to have those two for sure.
So speaking of the gas tank, one of the things you were talking about with the Saddleman seat that you're working on, you're moving the rider way up on the tank.
Yeah. So on the Griffin 450 tank, it has a contour where it drops down. And so we're going to have Saddleman is a very gracious, awesome company. Everybody probably has heard the name Saddleman. They're going to build a custom fiberglass seat section for the flat track bike, and that seat is going to contour or lay on top of the drop on the tank. So when the rider's in the race position or the takeoff position or the coming into a tight turn, he can ride as far forward as he feels fit or necessary.
And when we say forward, they're literally basically sitting on the tank.
I have bruises from sitting on top of the tank. I was on top of the gas tank.
Yeah.
As far as you can go.
Yeah.
But in our case, we're going to just move the seat forward, and it's maybe not as much comfortable for long distance riding.
Right. This wouldn't be what the Griffin production model would necessarily look like, but it's for the race application.
Because you got to be when they're taking off from a hot start, they need to be so far forward that the front end can't come up, and then they can lean back if they're losing traction in the rear. So the rider has to have the ability to kind of move around as necessary.
Yeah. Cool. Any other things that you were pointing out on the bike?
We rode both bikes. Me and Blake mostly spent most of our time on the 250 and the 450, and we rode them as hard and fast as we could, and we didn't break anything.
Well, that's good.
There you
go. Good. Yeah. Great. So very promising. Really, and also really encouraging for us for those of you who have a Griffin 250. I mean, you can really tear them up out in the woods. They handle really well. Our team was doing time trials with them, and they were putting down some good times with the 250. So
it was a blast. A lot of fun.
It's fun to see them proven out because when we design, like I've talked about on this Ramblestream, when we designed the Griffin, it's really a traditional scrambler. It's not designed to be a dedicated dirt bike. So it's good to see that it really can do what we designed it for. Okay, would you want to talk about? Let's see if there's any comments, and then we'll talk about
the build.
The build.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got Bleeds Metal is on. Greetings to you, sir. Kelly Chrisman rode my 450 to and from work last week for the first time. 115 miles round trip. That's a commute. Good for you. Old school in the house. Good to see old school. Tom Kimball says, the future of Janus is safe. My 16-year-old grandson starts riding lessons on my Janus this summer. This looks like a great way to train the lad. Thanks for the encouragement. Absolutely. It's a great way to... I'm going to be taking my daughter out, actually, and James, they're both doing the rider safety class together in 2 months' time. But I'll be taking our oldest out, teaching her how to shift gears here soon. So I'm looking forward
Very
to
easy to pull in clutch on the bike, so it's not like you're going to have to. I mean, it's smooth.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, comparable.
Ben Ferrer says, sounds great. Awesome. Jeremy, y'all are an ER doc's goddamn nightmare on those things. Well, I mean, you ride a motorcycle, Jeremy, so you know what we're doing. We're not trying not to hurt ourselves. Ramblers are not speed demons. I was driving back yesterday. My wife and I went out to the beach, and these kids came by us on sport bikes.
Oh, yeah.
And, their shirts were up their back, and they were doing probably 95, 100 miles an hour flying by us with their...
Go to the track, folks. Go to the track.
With their, tank tops and shorts. I was like, hey, it's a free world. You do what you want. Old School says 250. Ride a scoot for an old coot. Nice. Drum roll. Is this dirt for the scrambler? Yes. That dude just answered my question. Experiment for the flat track racer. Nice. All right. Thank you, Old School. We're actually going to, Jordan's going to take it from here. He's going to tell us about what they've been up to and start off, we'll go over to your slide here, but start off with just telling us about what the overall idea is, like where it started. You were going to be doing this work down in Texas.
Yeah, I moved my whole shop to Texas, which worked out in anyways because we have some other bikes that we're finishing up for different race series like Enduro Cross. But it was nice, and I think it was more fitting to come down here and just be part of the family and work together. And
kind of the mentality is, hey, this is where the parts are.
Yeah,
we can get things done quicker.
Yeah,
right
and
here.
it's more fun.
And we've had fun.
Yeah, have fun. I mean, that's the whole point of doing motorcycle stuff. Have fun doing it.
Jordan is you're staying under my staircase right now.
I am. Yeah, like Harry Potter. He lets me come out every once in a while, only to work. So you guys are looking at the bike. That is our front end. We extended the tubes 3/4 of an inch so we could get a total length of 28 inches. And the rear swing arm is pretty much very close to the final design for the Griffin 450. The frame is the Griffin 450 and the Halcyon 450 modified. So that way the subframe section, which is incomplete at this moment, it'll be a bolt-on. It'll be a weld-on system.
Not a bolt-on.
Not a bolt-on.
Yeah.
It'll be a weld-on.
So what you're looking at, just for a little perspective, what you're looking at here, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but is the main frame. He's basically chopped off the back top, the 11 o'clock position on that frame, what you're seeing right now. He's chopped that off, and it's cutting it over, and then it's going to join into a subframe with more triangulation back there.
Triangulation back there, and that's also where our twin shock rear shocks are going to mount. They're going to be more forward mid position on the rear swing arm, and then they'll mount at an angle that we find sufficient. Maybe I'll probably have adjustable angles because it's a race bike to the subframe. And then
the top
loop.
lines you see, the loop that's been cut is essentially the same as a production bike.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been modified. Have you done anything? Am I seeing a different rake here? Is this pulled back at all?
We've added rake through the length of the tubes.
Okay.
Okay. And then the lower section.
That's a stock Griffin front end or Halcyon 450 front end, but with a Griffin. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So we just went and got some new stock tubes that were longer than what you have pre-cut.
Longer. Okay.
Yeah. And then extended it 3/4 of an inch, and then we stuck it in the jig. We had to kind of modify the jig so that we could weld our triple clamp, is what I would consider it, in the same position that it's always been for you guys.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then off the back here, there'll be a whole
loop.
different loop subframe.
Correct.
Let's see what the next picture is, actually. Oh, yeah, we got a different angle here. Only thing I see is the top plate's on upside down.
And that top plate's it's going to be modified as well because we have a flat number plate, like a 10 by 12 inch number plate. Okay. It's getting custom made in house as well. Nice. So to be completely transparent, I think everything is being touched on this bike. I don't think we're running anything
that's pure stock.
pure. It's your stuff, but
like
it's been touched.
Everything has been modified.
Correct. Yeah, but nothing off the shelf. Like, meaning we didn't go on the internet and start buying race parts for a flat track framer. So there's no framer flat track parts being on here. If we didn't make it in house or build it or design it.
How unusual is that?
Only like the twin class pros or like some of the old
Really?
timers that are building bikes for fun would build a full custom bike
Really?
around an engine platform.
Cool.
You don't. It's mostly framer builds, meaning
So
they go
by
on a website and they buy a full frame, and it's called a framer, and then
Really?
you just move your motor mounts to
fit whatever motor you put in
correct.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Cool.
Old school stuff, man.
Old school
Bend
stuff.
some wires and bend some pipe and
So
go to town.
he bent the wire and kind of shaped where he wants it to go, and then follows that with the tube.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shot from the back. Fairly stock swing arm, or are you going to be are you shortening that?
The brace tube that's in the center is going to get moved forward. I might
Just to allow the tire to go forward.
to allow the tire to go forward, and then I might take an inch out of the where the subframe. Apologize. The swing arm mounts to the frame. Might take a half an inch out of there, but I'm not sure yet. Still working on the geometry and where I need that swing arm to be once we add the suspension. Just a few more photos of different angles for folks to see. And the front end's just mocked up so we could see where the width of the bike's going to be. Right now we're sitting at 56 inches max width.
What does the width have to do with the race?
Yeah, so like on a quarter mile or a half mile track, you're going to want a really long bike so you have more long stability on the straightaways for high speeds. The TT races are very interesting to watch because they integrate some turns, some tight turns, some 45s, maybe a 90, and then a tabletop jump. And the flat
So by
track
tabletop, you mean they're just jumping and then landing
flat, yeah. And so those bikes are your twin class and your singles class. And so our bike is going to be, pretty much designed to work on a TT style track, meaning we need to turn tight turns, and the bike needs to be able to handle and do that without pushing the front end. So it's just a different setup, and everyone's going to have to set their bikes up specifically for TT when they get there.
Cool. Let's see what else we got here. The view from the top. Electrical bracket will drop right in, or are you going to be doing a
I'm
different?
going to use your electrical bracket.
Okay.
Yeah. No reason to change it. I'm going to modify the battery box. It's going to be hidden in the back, not on the side, just because it keeps it clean for us and out of the way for
So
racing.
we'll have electric start.
Mm-hmm. This is my new bracket that I've been working on most of the day today because I've changed it 3 or 4 times. And what we're doing is we're relocating the foot pegs and the brake assembly. So and I think I have a picture after this one that shows a generalized location. That's your brake assembly. So they have some tooling set up so that we can install or weld the brake assembly with ease.
So what he's doing is he's moving the foot pegs on the stock Griffin or Halcyon framer kind of midway on the bottom rail, and he's moving it back so that it's actually behind and almost up with the swing arm pivot. And tell us about why. Why is that?
Yeah, so when the rider's in race position, I want their knees to be up on the tank, and that so they can lean forward and then have more body positioning, and not so much of their legs kind of like sitting in a mid position where they're more relaxed. They need to be in a race attack mode, and it kind of forces you when you sit on the bike to just immediately be elbows up attack mode.
So the opposite of rambling.
The opposite of cruising. Yeah.
Okay, there. Huh?
Yeah.
He's been listening.
And then
The
there
opposite
you
of
go.
cruising. Good for you. And then that's where they'll actually mount. Oh, I see. So the peg will be up in the swing arm plate,
Correct. Yeah.
and then the control
Will be behind
swings
it.
off the back.
Mm-hmm.
I see. I haven't been down there today.
It's been a busy day.
It's been a busy day. There we go.
And I think that's a clean look too. And that also, a lot of bikes you've seen in the past, the foot pegs they were welded to the frame tubing itself. But if you drop a bike and we damage, bend, or break that, I don't want the damage to happen to the frame. So if it happens on a plate, or that could be cut out and a new plate could be welded.
Yeah, rather than ripping off a tab off the frame.
Correct. Yeah, and we're racing it, so if it gets thrashed, it's going to get thrashed.
Yep. Front end. Oh, here's a video.
Yeah.
Jordan put this together. This Jordan, not the YouTube Jordan you're familiar with.
He'd have had a steadier hand.
As you can imagine, there'll be no airbox, so that's why this tube can go there. Big old pod filter off the back, probably. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's going to be a foam filter, and we'll have to just play around with different sizes and see what the motor likes. Make sure it breathes properly.
What's the current plan on the engine work?
So we have some things that we can do. We're getting closer to our time frame. So, but after riding the motorcycle with mapping, at least with mapping, and then the custom exhaust and opening up the air, letting it have some more airflow, or maybe run a hotter spark plug, better race fuel, the motors perform pretty well. I mean, the motor
originally you talked about possibly converting to carburation, which we might do at later date.
Yeah,
right now the time frame.
Yeah, because of time frame, we have to be respectful and make sure we have a motorcycle that's going to perform. But we plan on doing more events, which we've discussed.
Yeah.
And sometime maybe between the first rendition, like it's called a stage 1 to the motor.
Yeah.
We want to go straight to like a stage 4. I hate saying stages because it sounds cheesy, but to kind of help represent
like a
where
Honda
we're
Civic.
at. Yeah. We're gonna put a twin turbo in it. But anyhow, we've got a guy that does custom pistons for us, and we can do anything from 11 to 1, 12 to 1, up to a 14 to 1 compression piston. Have custom heads ported, polished, open up the valving, oversized valves, oversized valve springs. Those are the kinds of things we want to do. Lighten the crank, lighten the flywheel. I would say between Sturgis and remember the next event, we'd have enough time to do a full engine build.
Yeah, so
then we could see what it can do.
This would be something that we're putting a lot of work into this, and Blake and Jordan are interested in continuing to campaign this. We look forward to seeing how this continues to evolve and develop along the way.
It's been a very long time since an American motorcycle company has went racing for the first time. And so this is really like being a part of history. I think Janus is going to be around a long time, and they're going to have really cool bikes from their past all the way into the future, and I want to be a part of that. Blake wants to be a part of that, and we want to make sure it stays with the brand. We want to make a motorcycle that represents what you guys do, and with your assistance, where I think we're doing that.
Cool. Well, tell us a little bit about how Janus owners and others can help in this project.
Yeah, so it's more, I would say, outside of sponsorships and all that great stuff that you hear people talk about, this is really an opportunity to be a part of an American motorcycle company getting into the oldest racing series that motorcycles have ever done. It's an AMA.
This is the original.
Yeah.
I say this is the descendant of board track racing. So board tracks were very dangerous. There were some major both rider deaths and bystander deaths.
No brakes.
And they were also very expensive to maintain. Mm-hmm. So they ended up getting rid of the board tracks and just racing on horse racing tracks, which are dirt.
Yeah.
And that is the birth of, literally, if you can follow that history through to 70s and 80s flat track, and then a sort of recent revival.
For sure. And people are probably familiar with the Harley and the Davidson movie that came out, and it was like they showed Indian and Harley rivaling, and they ended up racing those bikes on dirt.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're doing. This is like being a part of that. So your sponsorships go towards us doing a factory race build, getting to the races, and you can probably talk more about that in detail. But you could be a part of history more than just supporting what we're doing. We need the support. We would love the support, and we need that to just be able to do this in general. Because I'm down here and we're doing this grassroots, but I think you guys can see now, as you're starting to see progression of the bike, that we're building a real race machine.
Yeah, these guys know what they're doing.
And to be honest, in case there's a question about the engine and all those things, the TT tracks, if you have too much horsepower, the bike can't put it to the ground, and so it's a squirrely, loose motorcycle, and it's very hard for the rider to kind of hold on to. And so a more mild motor for a TT that you can override the bike and be more consistent with your lap times is going to be just a better race bike in general.
What classes are you
Yeah,
running?
so we're going to be running two classes. We're going to run a vet class, which is an age class, 30 and up, and we're also going to run an open class. And we intend to perform well at both. Our goal is to bring home a trophy for Janus, and we'll have to buy another one because I have to have a version or a copy of that trophy. But so make sure that happens.
Okay,
when you go pick one up,
sure
we have to
happens.
take two home.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as sponsorships, this is kind of we're also offering kind of a unique thing because when the big teams go racing, it's very, 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 very expensive, and they go to the big companies. We're a small company, and most of our support comes from owners and our suppliers, actually. And several of our suppliers are really stepped forward. We got Vanson Leather, who makes our awesome leather, our wax canvas jackets. They're helping us out with the
Full race
incredible race leathers, which I cannot wait to unveil. Janus themed.
Yeah.
Striped sleeves, Janus Motorcycles logos that Blake will be wearing. What else? We got tires. We got shock absorbers.
Hoosier tires.
Hoosier tires. Yep. We got all kinds of. They'll need the equipment to get to the race to be able to fuel all that stuff. So right now, I believe as of our last update, we're at about 9,000. And what's the goal right now?
The goal is to get to 27 at minimum. 27.
Mm-hmm. So we're actually doing pretty well, and we look forward to. We're working with more vendors as well. So we're pulling it together here, and very, very excited for Sturgis. I've never been, as I've mentioned. Have you been to Sturgis?
I have not been to Sturgis. Daytona. We have a race at Daytona, but we get busy.
So it's going to be It's going to be a new manufacturer goes racing. For the first time.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot of fun.
And we want to build a few of these bikes for the customers that are interested in having one, and they're going to be limited run.
Yep.
And it's going to be the identical bike that Blake is going to be racing, which I think will end up in a museum sometime.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
They're that cool.
We'll have more details on exactly how that works, but yeah. More information on our sponsorship can be found on our blog, and I will add right after this. I will add a description in this, or a link in this description of this video. But more can be found on the website. Actually, you know what? I think I may have already added it to this. I'm not going to mess with the computer right now because it might freeze, but it might already be. It is actually already in the description of this video. So if you go at the bottom of this video, there's a link to how the sponsorship works.
And there's great information there as well. You want to see the race leathers or rendition of it.
Yes, that's right.
You want to hear some information, read information about myself or Blake Wharton. The guy is going to be racing and piloting the bike. And Janus information, Sturgis information, etc. 84th anniversary.
84th anniversary, and we'll be there next year for 85th. We got a couple of questions. Tom says, Jordan, chain or belt drive?
And it's going to be chain.
Very similar to what we're running now.
Yeah, different sprockets.
Yep. Old School says, what is the motor? Make, manufacturer, torque, and horsepower?
Yeah, SWM 450, very similar to a 400 XR Honda motor with a bunch of upgrades by SWM. And Richard's had some videos out there discussing the motors.
So basically, it's the same motor that comes in your Griffin 450.
It's the same motor. Yeah, and I think it makes what is it, 32 with the emission system and the mapping that it has?
I think it's about 30 right now.
30.
And we're hoping to pull a little more out of it for the race.
We've got an XR 200 that we built that comes stock with 14 horsepower, and when we finally got the dyno sheets done, we were running around 28.6 horsepower. So that gives you an idea of what you can do with a Honda motor, and this SWM is very similar.
Yeah. Tom asked about sponsorships. I think we've answered that, but I just wanted to add to that the sponsorship opportunities are not all like, $10,000. We do have some upper level sponsorships. If you have a business that would like to contribute, or you know of someone who might like to contribute with their business, maybe that's a way that you can get into the higher level ones. But we also have a $100 level sponsorship, and they all come with perks that come along with it. So this is something that we would like to treat as a Janus family endeavor. We're going racing. So anyway, we're really excited about it. We'd love to have you participate. And if you can't even do that, that's fine. Come along to the races. Come watch.
Like, share, and follow.
Yeah, August 11th, right?
Yeah.
11th is the races at Sturgis. So we would love to have you there. I'm sure we'll video it. I'm sure we'll do all that stuff.
It'll be live. The AMA will be the TT race will be live.
It'll be live.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll probably get some. I don't know how that works. If we can legally do the recording of it, but we'll make sure that we document it. Any other questions? We have Timothy Peterson, JM172 here, or 1072 here. Can't wait to see how it comes together in testing and what you learn from it. Well, we're learning a lot already. Who's the fool rider to experience the thunder of Skull? That would be Blake.
Blake Wharton, yeah, Blake.
And Gary says, "Oh, great! Now I need a Griffin 450 flat tracker to add to finish the collection." Well, there you go. All right, I think that's about it.
I had a great time. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we're having fun here. We're building race bikes, we're building production bikes. We're scaling up. We're having fun. Thank you all for joining us this Ramblestream. I will be out of town. I'm going to be on the East Coast next Monday. I will be visiting my brother, my youngest brother, who's a boat builder, and I hope we might kind of revisit our sailing, boat building theme, cruising theme, and maybe I'll feature some of his work. He's just basically finished a 22-foot wooden boat, start to finish, from scratch.
Wow.
So I hope to get a lot of documentation of that. Maybe some riding footage from Long Island. We'll see. But I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you for joining us, and
we'll see you at the races.
And see you at the races. There we go. Later. Good night.